Okay, today let's talk about point-slope formula. Point-slope formula is another formula that helps you write the equation of a graph. But this time it's helpful when you're given a point and slope, thus the name point-slope formula. It looks like this. It says y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where the point is the x1, y1, and the slope obviously is m. So for instance, what if I were to give you, let's say, this point and this slope? The way you would come up with the equation of this this line is you would use the formula y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I would just plug in my y is negative 4, so it's y minus negative 4 equals 6 times x minus 3. And then I would just simplify it. So this would become a positive, so y plus 4 equals 6x minus 18. Subtract 4. Y equals 6x minus 22. And there you go. And you'll notice that point-slope formula, once you simplify it, becomes slope-intercept form. Okay, let's try another one. So this one, it would be y minus, my y-coordinate is 0, equals 1 times x minus 4. So that part just goes away. And if you distribute 1, you just get x minus 4. Easy enough. Sometimes they're quite simple. One last one. What about this one? Y minus 1 equals 2/3 times x minus negative 6. So y minus 1, let's simplify that and distribute. So I get 2/3 x plus 2/3 times 6 is, I believe it's 4. Let's add 1. So we got y equals 2/3 x plus 5. And there you go. So you see it's pretty helpful when you're given a point and slope. Now let's talk about how do I go about graphing using that. What if I'm given something that's in slope-intercept form? Well, that's not the most useful thing in the world. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert it into slope-intercept form. Okay, slope-intercept form is the best form to graph because you can simply go through and just plug in. Now you could go and do some other methods here, but I think the easiest for most people is to just convert this. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to convert it. So I'd write y, whoops, not y plus, it'd be y minus 2 equals 2x minus 6. And then I would just add 2. So you got y equals 2x minus 4. So from that, you know slope is 2, y-intercept is negative 4. So I go down 1, 2, 3, 4 on my graph, and then I would just go up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1 for my slope, and there you go. There's my equation. There's my graph, pardon me, of the equation. Okay, so try that one. This would be a good one to hit pause and see if you can do it on your own. Alright, so what would you do? Well, let's see. I would distribute. So I get negative 1/2 x, looks like, plus negative 3 over 2. I would add 1. So y equals negative 1/2 x. Now, negative 3 over 2 is the same thing as negative 1/2. So if I have negative 1/2 plus 1, that's going to be a negative 1/2. So let's just graph that. Well, negative 1/2 is right here. And then I would go down 1 to the right 2. Down 1 to the right 2. And you'll notice I'm kind of halfway the entire time. And so I would just draw my graph then. Okay, and that's all there is to it, really. If you're given an equation that's in point-slope form, the easiest way, or probably the most straightforward way, I should say, is to just convert it into slope-intercept form. Okay, last but not least, what if I'm given 2 points, and I want to know what is this equation of this line? And so I'm going to use point-slope formula to come up with the equation that's in slope-intercept form. Well, how do I do that? Well, point-slope, remember, is this. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And you'll notice that in order to use this equation, I need a point and slope. Well, I already have a point. I actually have 2 points. I just have to come up with slope. So let's do that first. If you remember, our slope formula says m equals y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So if I simplify this, this becomes 9, this becomes negative 9, so my slope's negative 1. So I'm going to use one of these points in this slope, and I should come up with my equation. So I'm just going to use the first one just for argument's sake. So I'll say y minus negative 4 equals negative 1 times x minus 6. Simplify, this becomes y plus 4 equals negative x plus 6. I'm going to subtract 4, and I get y equals negative x plus 2. And there you go. A little bit of work. You had to go about obviously finding the slope first. But once you figure out slope, then it's just pretty straightforward like we were doing before. So here's another one that's real similar. So again, this would be a great chance for you to go through and try and do it on your own first. Now, what I would do is I would just jump right to finding the slope. So I would write slope equals 1 minus 6 over 5 minus negative 2. So it looks like that's negative 5 over 7. It's not the greatest slope in the world, but no big deal. So let's go through and use our slope, point slope formula. So I'd use slope, and I'm going to use this second point this time. So I'm going to write y minus 1 equals slope times x minus x1. If I were to simplify, so distribute, I get negative 5/7 x plus 25 over 7. Just add the 1 and we'll be done. So y equals negative 5/7 x. Now 1, if I'm adding this, remember that's the same thing as 7 over 7. So if I add 25 over 7 plus 7 over 7, that's looks like 32 over 7. And you can convert that to an improper, or probably a mixed number if you'd like. You don't have to. But that's how you do it. That's the basics of how you take 2 points and convert them into slope-intercept form.